All right, Coach. Tough loss on the road last week. The Bobcats were in it. I honestly believe that y'all could have been in control too. But just give me your overall thoughts on the game and what the Bobcats need to do to take that next step.
2-6A, slugfest, 48 minutes, every game. A lot of real quality teams, in this league. And it comes down to a handful of plays and, who executes those better, in the moments, typically wins. And it was back and forth. We had some opportunities that, we didn't take advantage of, but the guys fought, kept going, and we're right there in it and making some plays, and then they made some plays, and just one of those 2-6A games, back and forth. We just got to find a way to make a few more of those plays when it really matters.
Obviously, you don't want to dwell on anything, but if you could go back and change a few things in the second half, what would you change?
I think when you look at it overall, I kind of see the big picture, of the game. And I think we established some game control early. I felt like even after some bad things early in the game, we were in control of the game in the first half. We're down there kicking the field goal to take the lead by 3. At the end, we have the penalty, we back up, we missed the kick, kind of lost a little bit of our steam right there. But nonetheless, I challenged the guys at halftime. I said, look, it's a tie game, but we're outplaying them at this point. We're moving the ball, we're getting stops, we're doing a good job, just to continue on, keep chopping wood throughout the course of the second half. I think we got a little bit fatigued on the line of scrimmage in the second half. I think that showed a little bit. We got leaned on to a certain extent there. And then we came back and made some plays there. But, unfortunately, when we ended up going down, 2 scores, that becomes really challenging, to be able to kind of climb back in. We did come back and get in there a little bit tighter, but, just a little bit too much with not enough time.
Seems like the difference in a couple of these games this season has been the one extra touchdown that the opposing team offense doesn't earn, whether it's the pick six, like Friday, or it was the kick return against Midland Legacy. And it just seems like that's the difference in these games right now. As a coach, what does the coaching staff do to encourage these guys to lock in?
I told them, the team, even on Saturday, there's a swing there with that. We drift on a route where we shouldn't drift, and all of a sudden the ball's going the other way, for a touchdown, 14-point swing. We leave 3 points, off at the end of the first half right there. They have, they have a one-play drive, touchdown, walk off over the top. And those things, when they happen, they're hard to overcome. And so, those are, sometimes it just happens the way it does in a game, but we got to try to avoid those, bad eyes on the 2 long passes that went over the top. But then, whenever you do that, if you make people earn it, we're pretty good. Teams, they'll make a mistake at a certain point, or we'll make a play along the way. But, I don't, it doesn't bother me as much if somebody just kind of earns it, man, and they just made a few more plays in that drive, as opposed to, one play over the top or a big mistake, and here it goes, a 14-point swing. Those things are the things that get teams beat, in this league. So that's been kind of our Achilles heel, to this point. So it's just being able to always be an alert and ready for that. This may be the one play. You look back at the end of the game, you can identify 5 or 6 plays that made a difference, but you don't know when that is in the course of the game. So just having the mental intensity to focus, everybody doing their job, the way it was designed to be done, so we can avoid those things.
Okay, Coach, looking ahead to your upcoming matchup with Midland here at home, just kind of what have you seen on paper?
Triple option football. We're going to see this, the game shortened a little bit. This is when you look at their games over the course of the season, it's the fewest amount of plays that we've seen all year long. They keep the ball on the ground. They use a lot of clock. Heavy run game from these guys. So it limits your possessions offensively, which requires you to be that much more efficient when you do have the ball, taking advantage of that. But this is a team that's improved, over the course of the year, starting out playing South Lake Carroll the first game, and then they've scored more points, it seems like, every game that the season's gone on. And this is a unique system offensively, and they got a lot of new starters, on the team now. They were senior heavy at most of their positions offensively a year ago. So now those guys kind of have it going now, so it should be another slugfest. That's what I anticipate. I said in the opening of this, it's 48 minutes of just a fist fight, in this league. But, this is a must-win game for us, and I see it that way for them too. They're probably presenting it that way to their team, as well, kind of, on the outside looking into the playoff picture right now. But a win here certainly does put us in a great position.
Seems like this defense, one of the areas that they've improved most on this year is against the run. What unique opportunities do you think the Bobcats will have just to really impress their will upon Midland High?
Well, I think it's a line of scrimmage play, and you're right. We've done a really good job, especially last week. We did a really good job in the run game. Permian had a really good back, and to limit him to what we did says a lot about our fits and how we do things, defensively in terms of stopping the run. But great job with that. We need it again. This is a whole different animal, what we're seeing this week as opposed to last week. So tons of eye discipline, being in the right spot, being able to mix things up so you don't give them the same look every time, but being sound in everything that we do there. This system is built on, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 60. That's what they kind of look for in how they move the ball. So let's limit those big plays. They're going to bust a few, but you just don't want it to be 60. Make those things be 15 or 20, when they do hit one, and get a lot of vision on the ball, bringing the ball carrier down, and great eyes, lots of eye candy, moving parts going around. So it's a different challenge in terms of stopping the run, but certainly one that we have to establish ourselves at the line of scrimmage first. If we do that, then we should be good.
Coach, on offense, this will be the last question for me. When you face a triple option team like this, they're going to grind the clock. How important is it to throw them off their game early to force them to turn into a more passing team?
Well, it is. That's critical. That when you get a lead on a team like this, which is so run heavy, and you kind of make them do something that they're not really built to do, it's a huge advantage. So that's something. You get a couple of touchdowns early, they're going to stick with what they do offensively, and they are able to throw the ball. The system is also built, and they do it with the same personnel. So you just run, and you're playing corner on the one receiver they have out there, and you go to sleep on one play, and there it goes. So you see the stat line on teams like Midland High, and they run the ball 45 times for 370 yards, and they went 4 of 6 passing for 220 yards. It looks like that. That's kind of how they do it, because their passing game is typically big plays, because everyone is so invested, personnel wise, to stop the run. So we need to do a good job offensively to try to strain their offense. If we can put together some early scoring drives in the game and maybe get them thinking a little bit more about throwing the ball and playing kind of left-handed in terms of their philosophy for offense, we'll be in great shape.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.